3 a.m. Pillow Talk, and we have Mallory Johnson
Yes.
on the podcast today, and she's a mama to a really special little girl who has made it through some pretty big hurdles with her mama, and we're gonna do a little celebration. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand you the mic right now, lady. How?
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being on. I know it can be kind of wrecking.
Yeah.
So what was Zoe born with?
Zoe has what's called Dravet Syndrome,
Okay.
which is a rare and catastrophic form of epilepsy caused by a gene mutation.
Okay.
So she has every type of seizure there is, and it affects every aspect of her life.
Okay. And
But it's kind of on a spectrum.
okay. So she's autistic also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And
Yeah. So there's like um, some worst case of Dravet and some more mild cases, and she's kind of, as she's gotten older, a little worse.
okay. How does the autism and the Dravet how does that combine? How's it?
So it's kind of like, it's not exactly autism, they're more autistic characteristics,
Okay.
but you get an autism diagnosis so that they can get better
Okay.
therapies.
Okay. That sounds good. So let's start at the very beginning. Like how was she an infant? Like was because I have no experience with this. I
So she was born completely healthy. She had her shots, and then that night she had her first seizure at 3 months old.
okay.
And it was a tonic clonic, which they used to call grandma.
Okay. What?
So it was full body convulsions, and that was the first of thousands.
Yeah. Yeah. How? So she has it. So from infancy, so what did the doctor say? Like, how did that? I know that was probably scary.
So we went through a time where she would have a seizure, and the first seizure she has, like, oh, she had shots, she had a fever, nothing's gonna happen. And so we just went on our merry way, and then it just kept happening over and over and over again. And so we got into a neurologist and we did testing and never could diagnose her with anything until she was 3.
Okay.
Um, but when she was 3 and we went into the hospital and did all the testing and everything, she was having seizures 100 every 15
Jesus
minutes.
Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was bad. And I remember just being at work and getting those calls from daycare almost daily.
Yeah.
She's in the hospital. She's seizing. She's not breathing. And it was just horrible.
How did that affect? I'm sure that's scary as shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure that because I've had a couple of babies.
So, like, I knew a little bit about seizures because I had epilepsy. I have epilepsy.
Okay.
When I was 10, I got diagnosed. But when we did testing for Zoe, it was not related at all.
Okay.
So I had a little bit of an idea of what a seizure
Yeah.
was, but not to the extent of what she was going through.
Okay. When did they finally diagnose it? It's when she was 3. What was the first diagnosis? What did they?
So we didn't get her Dravet diagnosis until she was 3. Um, and oddly enough, it was on June 23rd of 2010, which later became Dravet Day,
Oh.
June 23rd. So that was kind of cool. Um, but we went to so many different doctors before that. We had lived in Tucson for a little bit,
Okay.
and there was a doctor that said when she was 2, she's never going to get better than this. She's never going to walk. She's never going to learn. She's never going to talk. Nothing.
Okay.
So, like, leaving that doctor's appointment was just horrific.
Yeah.
Like, I was by myself,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? Like, that was a point where it was like, no, Like, I'm not accepting this as an answer.
Yeah.
And we started going to doctors all over the country. We went to Miami, we went to Phoenix, we were getting ready to book a flight to a different country. Like, anything and everything we were looking
Yeah.
at, because we just weren't going to accept that.
Yeah.
And when I say we, it was a whole family dynamic, and it was my family. Her dad bailed. So
Did he bail when she started having problems, or
so everything was fine up until she started seizing at 3 months. And then he was gone.
yeah, I think I mentioned this before. I don't know a lot of it. I think guys are built a little bit different. And that is no
Mm.
fucking excuse. Like, we are assholes, we fucking assholes. And I think, but yeah, I'm sure that sucks. That's tough. I'm sorry.
I mean, he stuck around for a while,
Yeah.
but wasn't involved.
Okay.
I remember a time that Zoe had gone to speech therapy, and this was outpatient speech therapy, and she didn't recognize herself. And she saw a mirror, and she ran to it, thinking it was another kid to play with.
Okay.
And she completely almost like knocked herself out.
Yeah.
And I remember we went home. I called her dad, told him what happened, and he was like, "Well, she's just the R word, and you need to accept that."
Sucks.
I'm like, "Oh my God, did you just call your daughter that?"
Yeah.
And to this day, he won't admit that he did it, but it's ingrained in my head.
Yeah.
And it was shortly after that we got divorced.
Okay. So you went through a pretty rough time. At the same time, you were trying to cope with everything going
Yeah,
through. Okay. Yeah. Um. So the doctor said that she wouldn't.
yeah. Wouldn't talk, wouldn't walk, learn, read, anything.
When did she start conquering? When did you guys? When did you and her start conquering some of those hurdles?
Um, so it took a little bit, but she can she can walk. I mean, she can't walk long distances. She gets exhausted a lot. She's has a wheelchair in case she needs it, in case she seizes and can't walk.
Yeah.
She's starting to want to learn how to read.
Okay.
She's 17 and a half now, and just now hitting that. Um, she's in cheerleading. She does baseball, um,
That,
Girl Scout.
that's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty cool. I've been
yeah.
following.
She's bowling.
I've been following
She
you guys.
loves to do stuff.
Yeah, I've been following your posts, and it looks like she is. I saw her on a roller coaster or some sort of
Yeah,
like that's amazing.
yeah. It was her first roller coaster.
Yeah. Did she love
To
it?
make a wish trip,
Yeah. Did she love
which
it?
that was, yeah, she loved it. But accepting that my child needed a make a wish trip was a whole nother thing to accept.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, growing up, Make a Wish was always for like these terminal children. And you still have to have that aspect to get a wish.
Yeah.
Like, they have to have some kind of mortality rate. Um, so that was a hard pill to swallow. But I kind of pushed it off
Yeah.
as much as I could. But you have to do it by the time they're 18. So, and I wanted for her to be able to enjoy it. And we're just now at a place that seizure wise
Yeah.
we're stable,
Okay.
but that's taken a lot. We've been through, geez, I don't know, 4 or 5 different medical trials to get to where she's at.
So how often does she have seizures now?
um Now,
Yeah.
um probably once or twice a month,
Okay.
as opposed to like 100 every 15 minutes when she was a baby.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think it helped that long? Is it natural development? Is it
I think we've done so much as far as research, and um, we stay up to date on everything. So she's been in all these trials. Well, now she's in a trial that she's been in for a couple of years now, and she gets lumbar punctures with meds every 4 months.
okay?
And that affects, like, it goes directly to her brain.
Okay.
So I think that's been the biggest thing. But we've done cannabis, we've done supplements, we've tried to detox her. We've taken her to Phoenix and detoxed her, which almost killed her.
What is that?
Um,
What is the detox process involved? What is that?
so, like, detox from heavy metals, med buildup, toxins, anything like that. And when we did that, it was right before we moved out here, and it it took away her buildup of meds. So she was just seizing one after another,
Okay.
like almost killed her.
Yeah.
So don't recommend that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That it would, I guess
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of it from that angle, but yeah, I guess it would take all of it.
yeah. I mean, we tried everything.
Okay.
Um, when we were going to Florida every 3 months, she was on so many meds. At one point, her rescue med was 40 milligrams of Diastat, which Diastat is Valium.
Oh,
So that almost killed her. Um, so many things. There was, I mean, like anything she gets, I mean, she can get a cold
yeah.
and it can cause seizures.
Okay.
When she was, I think she was four or five, she had a seizure that lasted 2 hours. They called in um, the the pastor. She was metaflighted,
Yeah.
all for a virus.
So
So she's like my little bubble baby.
yeah, so you protective mama. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure that would. So what was her likelihood? What did they give her as a lifespan when she was when they first
So they wouldn't. They never gave us like a prognosis. Um, when she was diagnosed, her neurologist
started?
didn't know anything about it. Like, I didn't even know we were getting a diagnosis that day. Um, we went in. He was like, "She has Dravet Syndrome. Google it."
That's what he told
Okay.
you?
Yes. So of course I'm like in the parking lot on my phone Googling
Yeah,
this, and there's like 7 links, and it's all like mortality rate, mortality rate, mortality rate, and I'm like, oh my god, my daughter's gonna die.
yeah.
Like, Dravet syndrome wasn't a thing until 2001.
Okay,
This was 2010 when she got diagnosed,
okay. So then,
and she had been seizing for 3 years before that.
yeah,
So it was new. Um, and we got her diagnosis, and she was going to Arizona for 5 weeks because me and her dad just got
yeah,
divorced. So I didn't know if I was ever going to see her again.
yeah,
So I, there was just nothing I could do. I mean, I was obligated to give him my child for 5 weeks,
yeah,
and he wouldn't medicate her. I had to call the police to make sure she was getting her medicine. Like, it was one of the most awful times.
yeah. It was pretty stressful. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so he started. He started. Is he at least picked up activating her life? Is he kind of
Um, he sees her like twice a year,
okay? Yeah,
so he still doesn't really have anything to do with her. I mean, they FaceTime, but I mean, I think she's at the age that she kind of knows, like, my mom is the one who takes care of me.
yeah, yeah,
He's just fun.
yeah. So how was that?
Wow.
How has that changed your life? I don't know hardly. Like I said before, I don't know hardly anyone I know, and this is I know that a lot of people when they go to genetic testing, they do it before, like, so people can decide if they want, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a surprise. How did that affect your life? 'Cause I don't know a lot of people that would.
I mean, honestly, like, I was 20 having a baby. Like,
Yeah,
genetic testing didn't cross my mind.
yeah,
I thought everything was just going to be hunky dory, and I was having a baby. We were young and stupid. um, but now, even if I knew, I don't think I would change it.
okay,
Um, I didn't know anything about what I was getting into,
yeah,
but she's definitely changed who I am.
okay,
Um, like before I would be the one saying the R word or making fun of somebody,
yeah,
you know, not knowing how to react and respond to those types of people around me.
yeah,
Um, now it's just like my whole world is about advocating and raising awareness and inclusion.
yeah,
And it's made me stronger. It's made me different. It's made me view the world different.
yeah.
Um, I will say, everybody, every special needs parent that I know has gotten this. Only God gives you what you can handle, or
A bunch of anecdotes.
special kids need special parents, and like, don't say that to people. Like, that is just not the thing to say to a special needs
So
parent.
just a bunch of anecdotes from people who don't really know what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, but I've made a lot of friends that I wouldn't typically be friends with.
yeah.
Um, I've learned about a bunch of different diagnoses and how that works, and different types of communication, and a whole world that I wouldn't have even dreamed about.
So that little girl kind of built you in a way.
Yes.
Yeah. So she
Yes.
built.
Yeah. And saved my life more times than I can think of.
That's sweet.
I've You know, most special needs parents are diagnosed with complex PTSD or um, chronic PTSD.
Okay.
They go both ways, and it's draining
Yeah.
a lot of times, especially when you're doing it by yourself. In most uh, special needs parents, there's like a 60 or 70% divorce rate against
Yeah.
parents with special needs. It might be higher than that. I don't know the statistic off the top of my head. But people just don't know how to handle it. And so you go through all these emotions and being depressed and trauma and mourning the loss of this life of your child that you thought you would have.
Yeah.
And or like every seizure, you like with Zoe, you don't know which seizure is going to take her life. It could be she could be upstairs right now seizing, and that could be the last one.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know. So you're always on edge. You're always feeling like this doomsday, like this black cloud over you all the time. So
Does that
she she saved my life many times.
does all that help you? I'm sure. Does all that help you kind of enjoy the moments better?
You learn to live in the
Yeah.
moment and um, cherish the moment and like enjoy each milestone,
Yeah.
like every little thing.
So what do the milestones look like? Like, how did that?
So, like, just the other day, I guess it was Sunday,
Yeah.
Zoe, she didn't write her name for the first time, but it was the first time she wrote it unassisted.
Okay.
And so it was such a big thing.
Yeah.
And it was in her first yearbook. So she signed her first yearbook,
Yeah.
and it was great. And like she's the funniest little person now. We'll be driving down the road, and she's got some road rage. But I, the light had turned yellow, and she's like, "Geez, Mom, call for help." I'm like, "What?" And but she had formed a sentence,
Yeah.
and so we celebrated
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And just like every little thing, like a typical parent-child interaction, you might not celebrate that.
Yeah. Not at all, really.
But they might do that at age 1. I mean, like I'm so off on developmental milestones now. Um, but she does all these things. I remember the first time she rode a bike. She was, I want to say 8. And I have a video of it. And I was just bawling like a big baby.
Yeah.
She rode a bike for the first time. Granted, it was an adaptive bike,
Yeah. That's
but she did it. She pedaled. She steered. She was so happy,
yeah.
and she was like a typical child for like a moment in her life.
Yeah. So
And
that's something. I guess that's something we all take for granted.
yeah,
We all like just. I guess most people just take that for granted. That's not. I mean, we all like kind of celebrate a little bit, but we.
yeah,
Yeah.
like we get to celebrate like every little moment.
Yeah.
And we might not like she might not ever get married or graduate high school. She's not graduating high school. Um, but we get all these other things that people don't get.
Yeah. What
So
does her school look like? Like, and then what do her friends? What do her friends look like? Because I'm sure she's got friends.
she has so many friends. She's a little lover. Um, she is my little mama. She likes to take care of everybody. Um, she has a best friend that she's been best friends with for going on 11 years.
Wow.
Um, they went to they went to public school together. When they were both in public school, they went to um, an ABA school, which is Applied Behavioral
Okay.
Analysis. It focuses on autism and behaviors and adapting to that.
Yeah.
So they went to that school together. Then they both transferred to a different school, and so they go to bowling. They cheer together. They
Sweet.
go to movies together.
Yeah.
Um,
She's doing better than I am as far as friends. I think.
she has a lot of friends. That's her best friend. There's another girl that has a talker, a communication
Okay.
device. Zoe's obsessed with those, so they're best friends.
Yeah.
um, she just talks to everybody. She wants to be friends with everybody, high five everybody, I love you to everybody, which is great but dangerous at the same time.
It's kind of sweet and innocent. Like maybe the world doesn't touch her the way the world touches us sometimes. You know.
There was a moment, the beginning of May. We were up in Denver for a lumbar puncture for meds for the trial. And we were checking into the hotel, and this guy, I was checking in. She's doing her thing. I love you, want a hug, whatever, to everybody that walks by.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that she had told this guy, "Do you want a hug?" And this guy comes walking back in, and he was like, "You know what? I do want that hug." And I'm like, "Okay." He was like, "I just lost my daughter."
Oh.
And she hugs this guy, and she's like, "I love you, Daddy." And it was just like this sad moment, but this guy needed that, and she knew he needed that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awful.
She just has this like she knows what people need
Yeah.
that other people don't have.
It seems like we all look through a filter of experiences we've had, and we get. I think probably my first thought is maybe we could learn a lot from somebody like that because we end up we get in our way. We look at people through filters, and by 17, I was jaded. I was like this jaded kid. So that seems sweet. That's like really innocent. It's almost pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've always said that Zoe and kids like Zoe have this direct line to God. And I'm not like trying to be
No,
religious,
that's okay.
but have this different part of them
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah. That's sweet. That's Yeah. We could probably learn a lot. So it is completely shaped you as a person.
Hmm.
So you would be without Zoe, you'd probably be a completely different person right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that without Zoe, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I'm at now. I'd probably be a bit of an asshole. I mean,
You
um,
join the rest of us. We're all like
yeah,
that.
like I don't think I would have grown the way that I have
Yeah.
and seen the things that I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm like we've gone through so many deaths of Dravet kids and other special needs people that we're close to, and with every death, it's you just want to hold on a little tighter.
Yeah.
You want to see things a little different.
Kind of a reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like at any moment it could be you. It could be me.
Yeah.
Like it it's a reality check.
Yeah. So Zoe started out in public school. Did she start out in public school?
She went to public school until she was 8,
Okay.
and we did half day and then half day at the ABA school
Okay.
until she got a spot full time.
Okay.
We stayed there for up until almost 2 years ago at that school,
Okay.
um, and then something happened, and she was pulled immediately. Um, I can't go too much into detail about that because it's still pending.
Okay.
But she's grown so much at the school she's at now. Like, I wish I would have transferred her sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's not technically been in school since she was 8.
Okay. Okay. How did public?
So I mean, there's not a real reason for it. She doesn't need to know about laws, and yeah, like I remember one time they sent home homework that she was supposed to learn about um, creating laws and the judicial system. I'm like, are you kidding me?
She was supposed to learn that.
Yeah.
Never.
Like, she can't even write her name. Like, this is not important.
Yeah. That's. So yeah. I guess. So public school that they didn't handle it. They didn't.
Yeah, they couldn't. They claim to be able to take care of um, children with autism and special needs. That's not the case. Um, and the more that we're in like ABA and I see her needs, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
It's not realistic for a lot of those kids, but if you don't have certain diagnoses, you can't get into certain schools.
Okay.
Well, I call schools. They're technically medical facilities, but who wants to say, Zoe, you're going to a medical facility every day?
You go to the
Like,
hospital every day. Yeah. So.
yeah, I mean, she would love that. She loves the hospital, but she would rather be at the hospital than anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's got to be an attention thing,
Yeah.
but
No, that's sweet. Like I said, I've been following your posts, and it looks like she looks really sweet. She's
Yeah.
always smiling. She's always,
Sassy.
yeah. She looks like it. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been following it, so we don't know how prevalent is Dravet syndrome now. Do you know how?
So Dravet, it used to be 1 in 40,000.
Okay,
When she was diagnosed, it was 1 in 40,000. Now it's 1 in 15,700.
okay,
A lot of that is because before there was a lot of misdiagnoses, and I mean, like I said, it was found out and discovered in 2001. So it took a while to get there. So we were kind of in this, the OG group, I guess you could say. There wasn't a lot of us in the beginning. And so we built a lot of the research and awareness. Paige Figgy did a lot of that for us too. Her daughter is Charlotte Figgy,
okay,
of Charlotte's Web.
okay. That's
Um, we've done the Charlotte's Web. We've done Haley's Hope. Um, we've done Epidiolex. So cannabis kind of put medical cannabis put Dravet kind of on the map because of Paige and Charlotte, because they did all the national news stuff, and so people kind of started figuring out what Dravet
and
was.
those were parents. Were those parents?
Um, Paige Figgy is Charlotte Figgy's mom.
Okay,
So Charlotte Figgy, um, she was Charlotte of Charlotte's Web.
okay.
So a lot of people know that from like CNN and
Oh, so
that.
she was well known.
Yes, very well known, and it was um, cute because Charlotte and Zoe actually got to meet before Zoe had her first dose of Charlotte's Web. Um, and they had the same little haircut, and they were the same age, and they looked similar, and it was cute. But I remember Zoe having her first dose of Charlotte's Web, and after that, she said, how many was it? 11 new words in the first couple of days.
So what exactly is Charlotte's Web?
Charlotte's Web is medical cannabis.
Okay,
So it's CBD and THC.
okay,
Very little THC,
okay,
but it's whole plant. Um, Same as Haley's Hope, just a different breed of it. Um, but she wrote her name. That was the very first time she wrote her name, was like a week after she had her first dose of Charlotte's Web, which, I mean, I have a picture, and she's just completely zombied looking the day before she had her dose. And then the next day she was just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and
okay.
glowing.
So they developed that strain particularly, or they just figured out it was very good for Derby.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how all these states started doing medical cannabis laws, because it started with Charlotte.
Okay,
So that's where Dravet kind of got known, was from that.
okay,
And so we did Oklahoma. Zoe was the little, she did a lot of medical documents and medical media. We did CNN, the Weed 2 documentary. Did a lot of advocating in Oklahoma, so it's always known there.
yeah,
Um, but each of our families, a lot of the original families, did each of their states. So we got laws in each of these states so that kids like our kids could get access, because it was helping so much.
yeah. Okay, did you guys work together? Are there dark? Are they? Yeah. Did you guys kind of work together on that, or was it?
Yeah, Paige, Charlotte's mom, came to Oklahoma to help us. She's been to every state. She works on a national level. She's still, even though Charlotte's passed, she still advocates.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay. So
yeah.
what struggles do you? I know that it's probably built a really strong person and have to go through all this and cherishing her. What struggles do you still deal with it? Is there?
So doing it by myself, it's a lot. I've worked with my therapist a lot, but there is something about doing her meds. I don't know if it takes like 5 minutes to do her
Yeah.
meds, but it's every single day. I don't know if it's because she will always need meds,
Okay.
if it's some kind of realization that like she's always going to need me. So that's hard. But getting out and doing activities is hard because, especially as she's gotten older, if she seizes, I can't carry her.
Yeah.
I can't pick her up.
Yeah.
Um, she doesn't always want to be in her wheelchair. I mean, she's remote. She's mobile. She can do things. So it's hard getting out with her.
Okay.
It's hard finding time to myself. Yeah, she's in school during the day, but I've got to make appointments. I've got to keep up with the housework and all the normal, typical things.
Yeah.
So finding respite is hard, which respite is basically like a medical babysitter.
Okay.
Um, the state will pay for, but people don't like to do it, especially with the older kids because they're harder.
Yeah. They're more mobile and they're okay. They're more curious.
There's a lot of work. Like Zoe has a G tube. You've got to be certainly trained to deal with a G tube.
What is it?
Um, so she gets meds and feeds
Okay.
through her G tube
Okay.
because sometimes she just won't eat.
Okay.
Like her growth chart looks like a roller coaster. Like there are times she will be overweight and then she'll just stop eating.
Okay.
Then she'll eat again. Then she'll stop. So it's constantly a problem. Uh, for a long time, before I got engaged, dating was difficult.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to volunteer for
Yeah.
this, and I get it.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask for, even though it's me still doing all the work.
Yeah.
I'm not asking somebody to do anything. Like, I just want my own companionship.
Yeah. People can be pretty selfish. They probably didn't want to share so much of you.
Yeah, and it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot for people with typical children to date because nobody wants to. I mean, that's a lot of baggage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't look at Zoe as my baggage at all. She's part of the package. Um, and, you're blessed if she's in your life because she's amazing.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
Yeah.
See, oh, a special needs child. I don't want to do that. That's a lot of work. And I can't travel the world and see everything and do what I want to do when I want to do it. And
Yeah. I guess there's always been a stigma, kind of like a psychological stigma with people, right? About
mm-hmm.
special needs kids or yeah, special needs kids. There's always been sort of that stigma. So like when we were
The
like we
us.
probably made fun of them, like we were like
Hmm?
you don't understand what you know. And so there's always been a stigma, and I wonder if that sticks around with you.
I'm sure. I
Yeah,
mean, I know that when I was in high school and middle school, and it's like, oh, there goes the short bus. Like,
yeah,
but
that's
it's there's a reason why it's a short bus. Like now I know all the things,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like, man, that was so messed up of me.
yeah. That's
So like,
I'm sure
you
that
spend your life like telling people and educating people on why things are the way that they are.
Why is the
Like
short bus short?
Zoe uses an iPad all the time and a talker. Like she can talk, but this is an easier way for her to communicate. Like, can you imagine not being able to vocalize how you feel? Like being like internally frustrated all the time because you can't say what you want.
Yeah, and then I wonder if she picks up on other people's frustration.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if there's a
Definitely feel
yeah,
bad.
I wonder if that happens too. Then she's not gonna understand that because she just
Yeah.
wants her stuff. You know, it's like this is life. So I'm sure I'm sure she has a lot of
Well, and like a lot of people, I mean, like we still get looks. We got looks today at the doctor's office
yeah,
because she was scared. She didn't feel good. So she's cussing. Well, she doesn't know what else to do.
yeah,
I mean, she doesn't know how to say, look, mom, I'm scared.
yeah.
I don't feel good. I'm scared. I don't know these people. Like, so she's like, hey, you bitch. Like, I mean,
That's almost endearing. That's almost
I know.
that seems almost
And then she feels bad. Like, before we left, she's like, I need to say sorry. Like, yeah, you should.
yeah.
But, like, people don't get that. Like, in that moment, they're like, oh my God, like, what kind of bad parent are you? You let your kid cuss this person out that she doesn't even know. And
I think I think I would just let her cuss freely. I'm a guy. I don't know, but
I've just recently gotten to this point. Like, she's going to be 18 in August. Like, if she's not cussing somebody out and she just, like, stubs her toe and says, fuck, I mean, I think that's okay.
yeah, and maybe it's a good way to get out her
Yeah.
frustration. Like
I mean, like, I would say that.
I say it right. I cuss for no reason.
I know.
She probably cusses. I probably cuss more than she does. So yeah.
I don't know. She might give you a run for your money.
I have to get that shot someday. So yeah, is she? It seems yeah. I bet there are a lot of things that go along with on her end with growing up and looking at the world a certain way and her understanding of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm sure on the other side, there's a huge. It's just something that none of us understand. So
Yeah. Which is why we try to raise as much awareness. It's like when we were on her Make a Wish trip.
yeah,
We were at Universal and she tried that first roller coaster and loved it. And she wanted to go on this one that went like straight up and straight down. I'm like, no, no. And she just did not know why.
yeah,
Like I tried to explain it to her, but she just didn't get it. She's like, why can't I do that?
yeah,
And it's sad.
yeah,
But like safety reasons, you can't do that.
yeah.
And maybe someday we'll get there, but she was so upset. She wanted to go on that scary roller coaster that I wouldn't even go near. But
Yeah.
she's fearless.
Well, I applaud you. I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't build. I don't know. Like if I put myself in those shoes, I don't know if I'm strong enough to do something like that. And I can be like really honest about it. Like I could be very, very honest. And I've had kids. I've I've raised babies, and I just don't know if I would be personally strong enough. You know.
You say that, but you don't know until you're in that position. Say one of your kids, something happened today. Like
Yeah.
you would do whatever you had to do
Yeah.
to make sure your baby was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And that's just you don't you think that you can't do it, but you can, and because you have to. It's not a sink or swim situation. You have to swim.
like you have no choice. That's your
Yes.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What if you were because I've never heard of Dravet syndrome. I I I didn't know there were different I'm ignorant. I had no clue there were different diagnoses with
Mhm.
kids. Like I did not know how intricate it gets. So if you were gonna if you, there was anything that you would want people to know about Zoey? Let's say first Zoey personal.
I would say just, I would say never judge a book by its cover. I know that sounds so cliche,
Yeah.
but you don't know what anybody's going through. I mean, she works her butt off. She does, let's see, like at least 60 hours of therapy a week.
Okay.
She's constantly in therapy. She works more than an adult
Yeah.
works.
That's tough.
I mean, she's constantly going and wanting to learn and trying to learn and better herself. And we don't do that.
No.
We don't spend 60 hours a week doing that.
No. Most of us are at the bar drinking beer.
Exactly.
Naturally. So.
Like she she lives in that moment and she does what she can. You can't look at her and see that
Yeah.
because you don't know what's behind closed
Yeah.
doors. Just like I don't know what you're going through every day.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lesson that everybody should know. And like really hold on to that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just Zoe alone, like once you're in her world, everybody loves her.
Yeah. They fall in love.
Like she's never met anybody that does not like her. Not one single person.
Yeah.
And that's not just me being a mom saying, oh yeah, everybody loves my kid. Like everybody loves her.
That's
Like
crazy.
yeah,
That
she's sassy as all get out, but she is the kindest, most loving. She gets gifts for her friends on vacation. She made a birthday card for her best friend's dog.
Oh my God.
I mean, she thinks of these little things and she's constantly doing for others.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sweet. What would you? So what would you if there was a new mom right here, right? And she was looking at the same situation.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she was take, and she, because I can only imagine. I have no clue, but I'm sure there are a million emotions involved. I got emotional the other day telling somebody I was doing a podcast. So I'm just doing a freaking podcast, so bring the girl. So I'm sure there are a million emotions involved, and there's doubts, and there's what would you tell a new mom looking at this life?
Well, first I would hug her and let her cry because she needs to cry and get that out and know that that's okay. Um, Stay on research.
Okay.
Research, research, research. There's always something you can try. We've tried the Fiji water theory. Like that didn't help, but
What is that? What do you mean? How is that?
there is a theory that something in the Fiji water,
Okay.
like the bottled
Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
um, helps with seizures and behavior.
Okay.
So we tried that. I mean, it didn't do much for us.
Yeah.
There's always something, and you don't know. There's a nicotine patch theory.
Okay.
We didn't do that because we just didn't do that one.
Yeah.
But there's always something that's going to work for your kid that might not work for somebody else.
Okay.
Don't let somebody else's opinion about your child dictate how you medicate them and get them to grow in whatever aspect that is. Um, we do everything we possibly can. I say we, it's me. It's just me. Um, but we've changed schools, we've changed doctors. If a doctor says she can't do this, we're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can't let somebody say your child cannot do this, they won't do this. This is as good as it's going to get because that's not. And pray. You've got to pray. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to believe in certain things. I've accepted that we're never going to church again. That's not something Zoe's interested in. But you have to have some kind of faith in something to get you through,
Okay.
Whether that's if you just believe in your kid and your kid is your faith, then okay,
Yeah,
you have to have something to hold on to because it will drown you.
yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just
Appreciate it. Any kind of awareness we can get,
yeah,
we're in.
yeah. I thank you for being on. This is a new sort of thing for me, kind of, and I was excited about this podcast. I was excited about this episode. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks again.
All right, we're gonna close out. Okay.
Bye.